Welcome to the System Design Masterclass course. I'm really glad you're here. I'm Harsha, and I have been working as an architect for about 8 years. Let me start with a simple question. Have you ever looked at the systems like Netflix, Amazon, WhatsApp, Uber, or ChatGPT and wondered what's actually going on under the hood? How do these systems keep working when the traffic grows like crazy? How do they handle the scale, the failures, the bottlenecks, the latency, the data consistency, and the real business pressure, without everything turning into chaos? That's exactly what this course is about. Not the vague version, not the buzzword version, and not the version where people throw around the terms like scalability, caching, microservices, load balancing, event-driven architecture, and distributed systems, etc., and somehow still leave you with no real understanding. This course is about building actual system design thinking. It's about understanding how the large systems are designed, why certain architectural choices are made, what trade-offs come with those choices, and how those decisions affect the performance, the scalability, the availability, the reliability, the maintainability, and the cost. If you're a developer who wants to grow beyond just building the features, this course will help you make that shift. Because at some point, the growth in software is no longer just about writing the code. It becomes about seeing the bigger picture. You start asking the different questions. Like, for example, what happens if the traffic suddenly doubles? Where is the bottleneck likely to be? Can this database hold up? Should this be cached? Is this API design going to scale? What happens if one service goes down? Should this be synchronous or asynchronous? What exactly are we trading off by choosing one design over another? That's the level we're moving toward. By the end of this course, I want you to look at software differently. Not as the isolated pieces of code, but as the complete systems made of interconnected parts, each with its own constraints, responsibilities, and failure points. And that's also what makes this course different. We're not going to stay at the level of the textbook definitions. We're not going to build the fake toy systems that only work for 10 users, and then pretend you learned the system design. And we're not going to stop at the theory without showing how these ideas come together in the real architectural scenarios. We'll start with the foundations because they matter. You need a clear base before the advanced topics start making real sense. Then step by step, we'll move into the deeper areas that actually matter in the real systems. You're going to learn how to think about the requirements, the scalability, the load balancing, the stateless service design, resilience, databases, the replication, sharding, caching, the Redis, the CDNs, message queues, the Kafka, API design, GraphQL, gRPC, real-time communication, the WebSockets, and also the Microservices, sagas, CQRS, the search systems, security, observability, the payment systems, AI and ML system architecture, the cloud-native architecture, and the advanced distributed systems concepts. And as we go through all of that, you won't just learn these topics one by one in isolation. You'll keep seeing how they connect. That's a big part of the value here. Later in the course, when we get into the case studies like the URL shortener, Instagram, Netflix, YouTube, WhatsApp, Uber, Twitter, Amazon, ChatGPT, and Spotify, etc., you won't be memorizing the random solutions. You'll actually understand why the design looks the way it does. You'll understand why one storage model is chosen over another, why the caching is placed in a certain layer, why some systems use the asynchronous communication, why certain bottlenecks become dangerous at scale, why some trade-offs are acceptable in one product but not in another. That kind of understanding is what helps in the real projects, and it's also what helps in the interviews. So, who is this course for? This course is for the developers who already know how to build the software but want to move toward the senior engineer, the architect, or the system-level thinking. It's for the people who are comfortable with the programming and the web application basics, but want deeper clarity on how the serious systems are designed in the real world. It's also for the engineers preparing for the system design interviews and wanting more than the canned answers. You'll learn how to break a problem down, ask the right questions, structure your design, explain the trade-offs, and defend your decisions clearly. Now, let me also be clear about who this course is not for. If you're looking for a beginner programming course, this is not that. If you want a framework-specific coding course, where we build the full applications line by line, this is not that either. There's no heavy coding focus here. The focus is on the architecture, the design thinking, the system behavior, the trade-offs, and the practical decision-making. So this course is not about teaching you one tech stack. It's about teaching you how to think across the systems, regardless of the stack. And one more thing, this is not a shortcut course. System design is not a topic you master by casually watching a few videos in the background. It takes attention, it takes reflection. It takes revisiting the ideas once your understanding becomes deeper. Some lectures will click immediately. Some will make even more sense after you go further into the course and then come back. That's completely normal. In fact, that's how this subject often works. But once this way of thinking starts to click, it changes how you approach software from that point onward. You start seeing the risks earlier. You start making the stronger technical decisions. You understand the system problems faster. You ask the better questions in the design discussions, and you become much more valuable in the real engineering conversations. So that's what you should expect from this course. You should expect depth. You should expect practical architectural thinking. You should expect the real case studies. You should expect structured interview preparation. And you should expect to come out of this course with a much stronger understanding of how the modern systems are actually designed. If that's what you're looking for, you're in the right place. All right, let's get started in the next lecture.